Am I the astronaut for asking to get paid after 3 years of free childcare? Originally posted a year ago on my account, but reposted in hopes Mr. Thunder himself might make a video I can direct people to when they ask why my in-laws are actively trying to get people to hate me. Here it is. This is it. Mission accomplished. So if you have been directed to this video directly by OP, welcome. Hopefully this sheds some light on the situation, of which I know nothing about yet, but we're about to find out. I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom to my own 4 kids. My husband works third shift, and after he goes to work and the kids are in bed, I work on my side hustle, an Etsy shop, to help contribute financially to the household. My sister-in-law and her husband, who work second and third shift, started their family. I was so excited for them. They asked me to watch my nephew for the hours their shifts overlapped, since I was awake anyway. I said yes, even though I was pregnant with number 5 at the time. He would be the 4th kid in the house, as we had recently lost our daughter. So sorry to hear that. I told my husband they asked but never offered to pay, but if they offered, I would gladly accept. 3 years go by and they added my niece to their family. My Etsy shop is basically neglected for this entire time, as I have to wait until I get both kids to sleep before I can work on anything. I had them from 8 p.m. to anywhere from 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. I try to stay up to work on my digital items, but I still have to wake up at 8 a.m. to start my day with the kids. My sister-in-law says something about her husband's work helping pay for childcare of a coworker for her mother watching their kid. I asked if that would be something she could look into for me. She said yes, and then I never heard anything for months, even though I saw her basically every day of the week. I finally worked up the courage to ask. My husband insisted. He took a few days off work and stayed home to help me. He saw exactly how much work watching them was. He was aghast. "You've been doing this free for 3 years?" He insisted I ask about being paid. He's her direct boss at work, so I didn't feel right about him asking her. A month later, I got enough courage to ask. My sister-in-law is a very explosive personality. You have to walk on eggshells and catch her in the right mood to ask anything. I asked and she said what her friend was doing was sketchy, but asked me what I thought was fair. I told her I didn't know, but I would like to help contribute financially so the burden wouldn't fall solely upon my husband. I looked into a local nighttime daycare/babysitting, and the rates in my area are $20 per hour per kid, and that was the cheapest I could find. I thought that was ridiculously high. Even though I know that they could afford it, they are very open about how much money they make and the bills they pay. I knew I couldn't ask for that. I asked her what she thought about $10 an hour for both kids. She freaked out. She said she was thinking of offering me $8 and that everyone she asked said that was far too generous and that she thought I would work with her. I said I was, but that my offer was $5 less than minimum wage in our area. I heard nothing from her for a week. She was on vacation, so I thought we would talk when she came back. The day before I was set to watch the kids again, I get a text that my services would no longer be required. I was hurt that after 3 years of helping them, I was dropped like a lead balloon. I know I should have spoken up sooner or said something before agreeing, but number 1, I was so excited to spend time with my newest nephew, and number 2, it never occurred to me that they wouldn't offer to pay ever. So much has happened since then, which I can elaborate on later if you want, but this was the catalyst. I need some true outside perspective with zero emotions involved. Help. Well, luckily, I can do the zero emotions thing. I've got a robot switch somewhere where I can just boop. So let's look at this whole situation here and evaluate. The question is, am I the astronaut for asking to get paid after 3 years of free childcare? No, let's get that out of the way right now, right? NTA. Let's go ahead and dive in to some reasoning and some logical paths here. Candy Thunder comments and says $5 an hour, laughing emoji face. NTA, 100% NTA. They knew they were taking advantage of you. That's the bottom line. They knew they were taking advantage of you the whole time. They had the mission of writing this out for eternity if you were game for that. So until you spoke up, they were going to play dumb. That was the mission. And even after you said something about getting paid and were led on, and yes, let's call it what it is, they led you on about the possibility of getting paid. You were led on because they needed time. They were just milking a little more time out of this arrangement, which only benefited them. Let's call that what it is too. Yes, spending time with the kids is great when it is of your own volition. When someone is relying on you to do this on a schedule, especially one that extends into the wee hours of the night, sometimes into the to the 1 a.m. hours, it's work. It ceases to be quality time and it becomes work, right? And yeah, you can ask family to do something like that for you, but if you're relying on them that heavily, at some point, you're going to have to be willing to pay up. Because what's the alternative? What is the alternative? And maybe this is what they were aware of the whole time. The alternative is that they end up having to pay someone else more, someone that either they don't know or they're not as comfortable with, or their kids aren't as comfortable with. And this is where it gets shitty for them. Rather than pay something to someone that the kids are established and comfortable with, they chose a completely different route. Now, we don't know what that is yet, right? We don't know. Hopefully, OP, go ahead and write us an update with some details here, like elaborate for us. But we don't know if they chose to pay someone else or if they found someone else that they could sucker into doing it for free and they're going to ride that until it dries up as well. That was a weird way to say that, but you know what I mean. They found someone else to take advantage of. You finally spoke up. They will do the same, but maybe they'll get 3 years out of it like they did with you. Yes, you should have spoken up sooner. Yes, this should have been a conversation that happened in the very beginning before you ever started doing it, but hindsight's 20/20, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have the right to speak up later on because it's been this way for a while. Pain creates change. There was enough pain in your situation to create a need for change. You speaking up was the pain that created a need for change for them. Only they chose, I'm guessing they found somebody else they could dupe into doing it for free. Because if they were going to pay somebody to do it, they would have figured out that what you were offering, the rate that you were offering was less than it would have cost for anybody else. This would have been the cheapest option for them by far, unless they found someone else to do it for free. That's the only explanation that makes sense here. So no, you're not the asshole here. They're the assholes. They took advantage of you. They knew they were taking advantage of you. And rather than be fair and pay you a fair wage for the work that you're doing, because it is work, I'm guessing they found somebody else to take advantage of. And that sucks, especially when they have the means to pay you a fair wage for what you've done. It's not just moving forward either. That wage they would be paying you would be doing something to compensate you for the 3 years worth of work you've already done. And they're like, nah, we don't respect you enough to do this. Okay. If you don't respect your relationship with me enough to do that, you don't have a relationship with me. And I hope that's where it is now. So I'd like some more information on that in an update if you write one, OP. I would love to know where your relationship is with them now. I hope it's no contact. Creating a boundary for yourself because you have enough self-worth to know when you're being taken advantage of. If somebody's not willing to respect that, they don't respect you and they don't deserve to have a relationship with you. 0 is greater than -1.